Hi, this is Denise. Welcome to Foursquare Microfarm. This is Studio Blog, and I guess I'm trying to figure out what I really want to talk about here. There was a segment before this that I actually cut out because I didn't really like the camera angle, and it kind of just showed a bit about the handmade card. So hopefully I'll get an opportunity at some point to reshoot that. So pretty much what I'm doing now is I just finished the spin the weave along, but at the end of this segment, you'll see the yarns from the spin the weave along because I'm filming 3 or 4 things at one time as I progress through them. And so the videos are not always uploaded in the sequence in which I finished the event. So that gets a little strange, but uh, I don't know. I haven't figured that one out yet. I'm just kind of documenting as I go through, and whatever order they come in is the order that they come in. So if you've seen the spin the weave along videos, you'll recognize the yarn. If you haven't, then it'll be something new to you. I cut out a segment at the beginning of this because I've already finished the studio um, vlog, the second one, and I decided I didn't like a segment, so I'm inserting this one as the first segment. So forgive me if later down in the video I repeat something that I'm saying now because I've already filmed that. Okay, so at any rate, what I wanted to talk about are bullet journals or journals or calendars. And I always use a paper calendar. I do have a calendar on my phone, but as a writer, I like writing, like actual physical writing. And I find that it's just a lot faster to flip out my paper journal, flick through it, than to go to my phone, wait for the app to load, swipe through the app, try to figure out what I did it under. It's so much easier. And for the amount of different things I do, it's just a lot of input into a phone. This is much faster to have a paper calendar. So you've seen this one before, and it was in the red binder. And I was looking for something closed and more professional to carry around. So I actually got this binder at the thrift store, and it's pretty nice. I got 2 of them. I don't know, they were on sale. I only really needed one, but this is the usual paper calendar that I'm working over top of when I'm doing videos. And it's the typical one. It's a little limited, and so in the back I have the papers section split up by the different things, the vlog, the Etsy, what is the other one? Paper crafting, website, fiber list, and that kind of stuff. So I can put anything that was any great limb. So if I say over here I'm writing an article for something, then that article for that particular segment goes back here. Or if I'm laying out my garden, I'll put plant this and this here, and then I go back here and put it in there. And so this is the big one that everything goes into, but it is big. And so it's not really something I carry around. I wanted something smaller. And I've been watching some of the bullet journal things. So I went to the dollar store and I got this one. And this is bigger than my usual little pocket planner. And I wanted something to be more freeform than just like a little calendar. And something that could handle being in the purse or bag better than the little spiral flip book. So I got this one. And this one is not so bad. It's great. I haven't used it yet. It's really cool. It'll come in handy for a lot of things. Then, of course, I got my Post-it notes. I love Post-it notes. They're all over the place. But knowing me, of course, I wanted to make my own. So I made this. And now this cover is made from vinyl wallpaper. I have some big wallpaper books I got from the hardware store to use them in my card making. A lot of the patterns were way too big, but I wasn't going to pass them up because I figured I could find something to do with those wallpapers, which I can. And this is one of the vinyl ones. I think it's Thibaut vinyl wall coverings. So if you're in the business for some wallpaper, this is some really good stuff. And of course I have the, what is that thing called? the eyelet setter, the silent setter. Got the silent setter here. And actually, I believe the silent setter is a Papercraft tool. And if you don't know, Papercraft makes the Cricut. And I have a couple different Cricuts. And okay, so I use this one. Oh, it's upside down. I use the eyelet setter, and I've always got like weird elastics on hand from sewing, and the miscellaneous beads from Stampin' Up. Put on the end of that, or buttons. And so basically, I've got pockets here, and then the backing paper is the 12 by 12 paper packs, and I made several little notebooks here. So this is really cool. It's like a Dory style traveler's notebook, basically, is what it is. And it's not in any particular size. I guess I could have made it a uniform size. I hadn't really thought about that. I had the size of the vinyl paper, which is 12 by 12, and I wanted to waste as little as possible. And I wanted it to be almost the same size as this one, so it would fit inside one of my smallest purses. So I kept that in mind. And of course, as a card maker, 5x7 just seemed like a really good size. But I hadn't really thought about the fact that if I was to purchase insert books, it'd be nice to have a standard size. Now, I'm pretty sure I could fit the 5x3. I think there's a 5x3 size book. But I just kind of made my own for now. And so this will allow me to have different journals for different facets. I can have a church journal, a knitting journal, a dog journal, or whatever, crafting journal. And so it's better for indexing. That's basically what I'm getting at. So I don't know. I don't think I'm going to start one of those journal with me things. That's kind of really not my style. Oh, of course, except for the Bree Study journals. That's something totally different. But I don't know. It was really cute, and it was fun to make, and I just enjoyed making them. And I think I enjoyed making them so much that maybe I'll make a set for my nieces this coming year, for the 2020 year. And I haven't personalized it yet because, you know, I know this sounds really strange, but I'm not really into personalized stuff with my name all over everything. That's never actually been my style. So I may or may not ever actually personalize this one. Just picking out the colors, picking out the papers that I like is pretty much personalized enough for me. So that's my venture on the bullet journal thing. And let's see if I ever actually get around to using them. In the meantime, I got some samples off of Mu Art. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it, but I got these off of Instagram, from Instagram post. And so they're samples of their silk. We have silk top and silk roving, cocoon cake, and then some samples of 60-20, 69-22. I'm sorry, that should be 62, 69-22 threads. But these are really nice too. I'm generally, I wanted a sample of just the roving, but it's really nice to see the sample of the threads as well. And they specialize in piece silk. And if you don't know, piece silk is when the silkworm, or at that point, what is it, the butterfly silk moth, is allowed to emerge out of the cocoon, as opposed to taking it when it's actually inside the cocoon and getting the silk from there. Okay, so I got these right here, and these are those silks that you get for the facial silks, the cocoons. You're supposed to rub it on your skin, and it helps exfoliate your skin. And so these guys all have holes where the moth ate through the cocoon and was allowed to live. If you don't know, usually what happens with silk is after the cocoon is spun, they pull the cocoons off and boil the cocoon. And then when they pull it apart or reel it, then they just, the uh, silkworm on the inside is basically boiled alive. Now, if you think of silkworms as just being worms and insects, that might not really bother you so much. But there are some people who just don't kill anything for any reason. They don't have to. And so they're kind of opposed to having little silkworms boiled alive. So you can get silk where there's a hole. And that, I mean, it doesn't bother me to have a hole. I don't really see any reason why I have to reel it, in one piece like that. At least not for the purposes I'm doing. So this is just fine like this. And so I thought the piece silk was a pretty cool idea, and it's quite wonderful. So if you are looking for piece silk, if you can see the name of that company, you could give them a try. I just want to warn you, silk is like dangerously expensive, but just so you know that. Okay, so you always get these really weird angles with me. Kind of working on that. There's a difference between the space I'm working with when I have this tripod like over top of me. So I'm always trying to figure out how to get the camera angle right with the light right and not get a glare from the camera, and also so you can be able to see everything without actually seeing me in the picture, and still be able to not be like a really weird camera angle. So I'm thinking for some of the videos, I'll probably go back to the video glasses, which is really cool because you get to see it as I'm looking at it. But one of the things that's a problem with the video glasses is that if I'm making little head movements when I'm talking, because I'm gesturing, even though I'm not actually being seen on camera, then whenever I move my head, you're going to get the camera as kind of, it just doesn't, it moves pretty quickly and adjusts pretty well because they're sports glasses, but still you're going to get a little bit of a shadow from watching, from being able to see from my view where my head is kind of bobbing. At some point I'll figure it out. All right, so I'm still working on the other bag, and I found the thicker interfacing, and I thought about something. And poor Jewel is like trying to sit right up next to me. She got a bath today, and she is not happy about any of this. And she got sprayed down so we could make sure we don't have any fleas for the end of the season. She is an unhappy chick right now. I'll try to see if I can get her to take a shot at the end of the video. Okay, so anyway, this is like the really super, what is it, Palon? I forgot what it is, but it's something like that. It's a really thick interfacing. None of this is the iron-on interfacing. The other one was really thin. Well, actually, maybe this is the iron-on interfacing. It does kind of feel like it. I can't remember. And so, it's a really thick one. And I thought to myself that if I put it the entire length of the bag, then what I'm going to wind up with is really thick seams, especially if I pull this back in and do a French seam on it. So, and also it'll be really thick at the zippers, and I really don't want that. So what I'm considering doing for this one is only putting the interfacing at the bottom of the zipper, starting at the bottom of the zippers for each one, and then taking the interfacing at least 1/4 of an inch away from the edges so that I can do the French seams without really worrying about all that extra bulk. I haven't quite mapped that out yet. So that really means, though, that I will have to fold and cut this. And then, after I've cut the rectangles for the box, then to cut them into this right here to give it the right kind of shape. It's a lot of that. It's a lot of considerations when you do this, but that seems to me like the best way to go. It's not like my machine can't handle it. I just see, when you're doing a French seam, you're folding it out, it's out, and you're seaming the outside, and then you're flipping it inside out, and then you really have tucked in that outside edge that you sewed over. You're tucking it inside, then you're sewing it so that outside is encased in the inside. So if you can imagine a layer of this sticking out, me going across it, and then me turning this inside out, folding it in and tucking that over another layer of this, it's going to make my corners really thick. And that would be a lot to sew through. So I'm just thinking about that when it's time to do the bags. And I know you're asking, like, how many projects can I possibly do at one time? Well, that was 1, 2, 3. The third project I'm working on, I've actually started the video in the middle of another project, is that I'm trying to show a video as to how long it actually takes me to complete a single project. Because I've had people ask about pricing, and a lot of the factors in pricing is how long it takes to do something, multiply that by cost, yada, yada, yada. And really, when you're talking about handmade, you start from scratch. When you talk about how long it takes to do something, that is really dependent on individual people. And since I process pretty much all of my fiber from scratch, the amount of time it takes to do something is going to be a lot greater than a lot of people. I already did the wool. Let me show you that real quick. I carded wool. And of course, I didn't weigh it, so I can't even tell you how many ounces right now. But I carded this wool, and I will... Oh, hit the cricket there. I'll have to fix that. Anyway, I carded the wool. It's probably about 2 or 3 ounces. I'm going to add in some Angora to this, but just carding this, and I wasn't like gagging. It took me an hour and 20 something minutes almost. So that's just the first hour. So if I'm, doing minimum wage, that's $8 right there. And I haven't even gotten to carding in the Angora or the spinning or the knitting yet. So you can probably take a guess about how expensive this would be just in labor, not even talking about materials. Okay, so that is that. Also, I've also been thinking about this. I made a knitting roll to store my knitting needles in. And let me tell you, I don't know why it took me so long to make one. Could have made one years ago. But I really got tired of searching for 1,000 knitting needles. Like, they're all over the place. And I'm still missing a project that I would really like the needles from. I'm still missing some needles too. They're not all here in this space. So I'm going through and finding them as I unpack. All right, now, here's the thing I ran into, which I hadn't even thought about when I first made them, is that every time I bump this thing, all the needles start sliding out. I'm like, oh, that is so very interesting. And I never thought about it before. And I really don't quite have a place to make sure all these needles are properly seated. Now, these aren't even all the same needles. I don't even know where these guys go. I have to sort these guys out. Okay, that looks like that one. Okay, so anyway, that is a problem right there. So what I decided to do is, for this one and in my next few, I'm going to make another flap up here to fold over and Velcro down so that I don't really have to worry about that. Or, I probably could stitch in some elastic to go across these. So that's another consideration. I could take some elastic and put it across the pockets. But I think for me, it would be better to just have an entire kind of flap up here that folds over to keep those needles from sliding out. because they just all come falling forward right there. And you really don't want that. So this one will go back to the drawing board before it's perfected. And maybe last but not least, I am working on the spin to weave along. I have all of the yarns ready for the spin to weave along. And I've started warping these guys right here. Oh, the yellow's up there on the Swift. And I've already started the warping process. I warped the purple and I warped the gray. The yellow's up there on the Swift. And I'll get the other two sometime today. My back was starting to hurt, so I needed a break. Basically, that's on there ready. And hopefully I will have the loom warped by tomorrow afternoon and start the weaving process on Saturday. That's a whole separate video, so I'll have links below for the spin to weave videos. I want to say they're all inside the Weaving with Handspun playlist, so I'll have links for that basically on there. So that's pretty much what I'm doing here at the studio. Hopefully for the next studio blog, I'll have something done. Well, I'll definitely have the package and the card sent out, and I'll have the weaving set up, and maybe the bag made, or the samples of the silk dyed or something like that. I don't know. It's always busy around here. I always have a lot of stuff that I do. And I have like a little list of things. And then sometimes, you know, as you're creating, you run into something where you see something else you want to do. So you either put that on your list, or it's something that needs to be done because it goes with the other things that you're doing. So you kind of have to stop and get that adjusted. And then you can continue on with whatever it is you were doing. That's how it works. All right. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or comments, as always, put them in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to know if you have any videos or any topics you would want me to talk about. I'm always open to make videos for you. And as always, click the thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and share it with your friends. Have a great day. Let's see if we can get Jewel in here to say hi. Say hi, Jewel. Hi. Take care. Hi, Jewel. Yeah, hi. Hi, Jewel.